Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, the cross stitching runner, and welcome back to my Flosstube channel. Today is Sunday the 13th of June, and I want to say a big hello to everyone who is watching, and thank you very much to people who have subscribed, commented and watched my previous videos. If you're new to my channel, this is where I talk about cross stitch and a bit of life updates, that kind of thing. And I also talk a bit about a website, a business that I have that's now active and up and running called Hot Cross Stitching, where my aim is to start providing people with cross stitch classes for beginners and intermediate people of skill levels, and also the aim with the website is to sell original cross stitch patterns. Those cross stitch patterns are based on photos that I've taken, and they're mostly landscape style photos. Some of them will be of animals as well, mostly like horses, dogs, cats, and the landscape photos will be taken of I guess flowers and that kind of thing, and also landscapes of I guess the Canberra region, New South Wales, and some places in Queensland and New Zealand, and pretty much other places that I've travelled to over the years that I think are really good photos and also make really good cross stitch patterns. So you'll see over time, including today, that I'll share with you my progress on some of those patterns that I have created and I'm stitching up, and I hope that you like what you see. And if you really like what you see, then head on over to the Hot Cross Stitching website and yeah, purchase the patterns. All of them are PDF patterns that are fully compatible with the Pattern Keeper app, and majority of the photos or patterns are full coverage. So yeah, if you are into that kind of thing, by all means, yeah, check it out, and yeah, tell other people that you know who are interested in cross stitch and wanting to learn how to cross stitch and that kind of thing. So that's just a little bit of a plug. But yeah, I guess this week will hopefully be a slightly shorter episode compared to the last couple of ones that I have done. I guess at the moment I'm home alone, and I guess I want to make the most of having the house to myself, even if it's just for a couple of hours. I'm at the coast house at the moment with my boyfriend, and he's catching up with a mate for lunch, and I get along well with his mate, and it's also a situation where my boyfriend and his mate don't often get to have just boys time, and I really appreciate how important that can be, where you and your best mate or whoever, you might be catching up, you might not get to do it very often, and as well as you might get along with the significant other of the mate you're catching up with, it's not always the same. And so that's where I want to give them a bit of space. I also enjoy having a bit of me time, and it means that I can have a bit of a catch up with all of you, and I can also do a bit of cross stitch, and I can chill out and do whatever I want. That said, I can do whatever I want for much of a muchness when I am with my boyfriend, and I guess when I'm chilling out with him, I'm very much aware of him being around and wanting to hang out with him and that kind of thing. So that's why I appreciate a bit of me time as well. So once I've finished this floss tube, I'll hopefully be able to have a quick bite to eat. It's around lunchtime at the moment, and then I can settle down and enjoy the views. It's really nice weather at the moment here at the coast, and the last couple of days it has been raining. The weather hasn't really been great, so and I have been outside and I have enjoyed the weather, so now it's time just to sit back, chill out, and yeah, relax. So when I am cross stitching, one of the things that I really like doing, and I hope many of you can appreciate that as well, I really enjoy actually having a bit of background noise. So this is one of the things that I'm really into for cross stitch, where I usually have Netflix on or something on the TV in the background, and I have become obsessed almost with the TV series called New Girl. It's on Netflix, and I know that it had been on free to air TV a little while ago in Australia at least, and yeah, it's become available on the Australian edition of Netflix, and I really like the show. It's a show that I can just sort of chill out to and concentrate on a bit of cross stitch, and yeah, and enjoy what that show is all about. So that's just some of the things that I'm into at the moment. But one of the things that I would really want to share with you all is I've done a bit of cross stitch shopping, and up in Canberra there is a store called the Crafty Frog, and this is where I got all of my haul from. And I love that Canberra has like a specialty store. We mostly have Lincraft or Spotlight around the area. There is Lincraft and Spotlight in Canberra, so they're good stores to go to for a variety of things. And I feel jealous of many people who are living in America and parts of Europe who do have the specialty craft stores available that sound really cool. And I also love that here in Australia we're getting a few more of them coming out and about, and especially the bricks and mortar kind of stores. And I love that we've got online stores as well. I think it's making a lot of difference. So with all of that in mind, the first thing I want to share with you is a couple of needles that I've heard about on Flosstube, but I've never tried out before. So my apologies if this is going to be a bit glary. So I've heard about these ball tip needles, and I bought 2 packs. So one is a size 28 and the other one is a size 26, and it's more to do with, I think, the eye of the needle, potentially the size of the eye of the needle, and potentially the length of the needle as well. But apparently the ball tip needles are meant to help the embroiderers and the cross stitchers with being able to find the holes in the fabric and threading the needle through and the threads through the holes. And I guess the other appeal I have to trying out these needles is in about 2, maybe 3 weeks maximum, I'm going to be doing a short holiday up to Brisbane for just a bit of a holiday, and I'm going to be participating in a fun run up there, and I want to try stitching on the aeroplane. So from Canberra we're flying up to Brisbane, and it will take about an hour and a half flying to get up there. And yeah, I guess I'm keen to try and make the most of that time rather than sitting on the plane and listening. I could still be listening to things or watching like some Flosstube and that kind of thing. But I'm the kind of person who if I'm sitting down, if I'm going to be watching TV or something, I feel like I need to do something with my hands. Or if I am participating in maybe some training or that kind of thing, I'll have this itch, or I'll be playing with my hands a little bit. I'll still be paying attention to what the person or people are saying and what they're doing. I'm a tactile kind of person. I need my hands to be moving in some way. And yeah, I'm hoping that I can make the most of those needles and use them with potentially some existing WIPs, or maybe even starting a new project, because I am going to need to bear in mind what project I do work on the plane and how many thread changes I'm going to need to do for this section of the pattern I'm working on. So with that in mind, I have the other thing that I'm really excited about is I've come to realize just how awesome the specialty threads are. I've heard so many floss tubers talking about all these specialty threads, and I've heard a lot about cottage garden threads. And for ages, I thought that these sorts of threads, I thought these guys were American based, but they're not. And Brindabella threads are extra special to me because aside from them being Australian, my understanding is that they're Canberra based, or they're very close to Canberra, so they could be very much based in the Canberra region. And so that's where I want to support any Australian people who dye threads or fabric or anything along those lines, because you guys are awesome. You guys are really, really talented, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing. And so I'm thinking with these threads that they could form part of a few patterns that I've been playing around with that aren't full coverage, and they're actually inspired by Flosstube. So I've put some draft patterns together, and I just need to figure out what fabric to do it on. But yeah, watch this space. You never know. In a few weeks' time, maybe, considering what my attention span can be like at times, give it a few months. So this is the other thread that I've got, and the difference with this one compared to the others that you just saw, I mean, obviously it's on a spool and that kind of thing. This has a really silky feel to it, and it's a variegated thread. And even if I don't stitch with this, the fact that if I just pick it up every so often and just rub my hands over it and that, it feels really, really good. And I'm not quite sure what the brand of this is. At the top here, it says Wonder Feel Razzle 50 yards, and it's 100% rayon. I think it might say color RZ Infirmary 15. So I don't know if that helps at all, if any of you like what you're seeing on this spool. But yeah, I got it from the Crafty Frog, and I've heard some people on Flosstube talking about these types of spools, and I wanted to give it a go. So thank you very much to everyone who's talked about those sorts of specialty threads. Yeah, I love it. So I've also bought some fabric from Crafty Frog as well, and this first one that I bought is hand dyed. It's 32 count linen, and yeah, it's mostly I guess marbled pink with it might have a hint of purple in it, because there are some slightly dark spots on it. And what I feel really excited about is, you might see the edges are serged, and I feel excited about that, because whenever I have bought other types of fabric from Spotlight or Lincraft, actually even up at the Victoria Needle House Craft. There's a special store up at Mittagong that I've travelled to a few times over the years, and I've gotten a lot of fabric from them over the time. And that's probably the first. So this is probably the first fabric that I've bought that someone has kindly serged the edges on, and so that's why I feel special, and I feel excited about it. And yeah, I guess whenever I've bought fabric, it's usually yeah, it hasn't been serged, and I'm usually sort of chopping it up to whatever size I'm needing it for different projects. So hopefully I can find a pattern that will do that one justice. So the next fabric that I've bought is this. It is 25 count Lugana easy count, and I've fallen in love with this kind of fabric. I'm really excited about it. For those of you who have seen some of my previous Flosstube episodes, I am stitching on a couple of projects that are using easy count, and I have fallen in love with this. Whoever came up with this concept and has actually put it into action, hats off to you. Absolutely. To me, that's a game changer as far as full coverage cross stitch is concerned. It makes the world of difference, and I'm so excited and happy that the person or group of people who has done this and has made it available to so many different stores around the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate what you've done. Thank you. So the next fabric I've bought is really special to me because I have seen so many people not so many, I take that back. I've seen some people on some different floss tubes. I can't remember any specific names or specific projects, but I think it's mostly mirabilia kind of patterns that people would stitch on. But this has actually got gold glitter style of thread kind of woven through it. So this is it's 28 count Lugana Brittany gold, and I bought this because of the sparkle factor. I'm one of those people where it's like, oh, squirrel kind of thing, where as soon as it's something kind of glittery or shiny or anything along those lines, it grabs my attention. And it's a bit like the feel, the texture of stuff. If it feels silky or nice to touch or fluffy like this top, I'm all in. So that's why I really was drawn to this fabric, and I think this fabric is going to be difficult to stitch on. This is just based on me looking at the back of the fabric while I'm showing it to you on camera, that I'm going to need some good lighting, and I can see it's going to be challenging for me to find the holes properly on it. So I might actually use this fabric to I'm just opening it. I haven't actually opened this up very well to see just how transparent it might be. I'm thinking I might stitch some smalls on this just because of the challenge factor. Or it could just be a case of me just getting used to the fabric, and then I'll probably, in however many weeks or months time, we'll rave on about how much I've fallen in love with it. But we'll wait and see. I just love it for the sparkle factor. That's pretty much it, the sparkle factor. So that's the fabric. I do have 2 more bits to show you with the haul, then I'll be able to move on to WIPs. Okay, so with the Crafty Frog, I've been aware of this store off and on for a few years. I haven't gone to the Crafty Frog very often. I think the first time I went to the Crafty Frog was maybe near the start of this year or towards the end of last year. I can't remember exactly. It may have been early times, doesn't matter. I had a fangirl moment at Crafty Frog partly because of the threads and just how excited I was with the Brindabella Threads and the Cottage garden threads. I was excited about Crafty Frog being stockists for them, but I love watching Flosstube. I think all of you are amazing with all of the projects you're working on. I don't care how long you have or haven't been stitching for, you're all amazing. And as a result of the different projects we've all shared with each other, and especially with some of the designers who are on Flosstube as well, that that's why I've had a fangirl moment. Tiny Modernist. I've heard a lot about Tiny Modernist and the amazing patterns that she does, and I guess I've flirted with the idea of purchasing some of these, and I don't know why I haven't, but when I was at Crafty Frog purchasing the fabric and the threads, I saw these two patterns at the counter and I had to have them. These are two of the patterns that I have been eyeing off on the Tiny Modernist website, and these are really cool. I have stitched a biscornu before, and I'll insert a picture just to show you what that biscornu was like. I gave that biscornu to my sister as a birthday present, and she's a crafty person as well. She does like sewing and that kind of thing, and so I wanted to give her something special as like a pincushion that she could hopefully use when she's next able to do some stitching. So it might be that these two biscornus could go well with the glittery fabric, or could go well with the pink fabric. So I'm just gonna grab it. Okay, so the pink could go well with the elephant, I think. There's something about the way greys and pinks, there are certain shades of greys and pinks that I think go really, really well. And then the lion one could go well with the, sorry for the rustles, could go well with this. I think maybe something about the yellows and the gold, that could work. So yeah, I don't know, we'll wait and see. I do love the prospect of starting another project. It is a matter of sticking with it. But I love starting new projects. It's just the excitement of just seeing it starting to come to life. So with that in mind, now for WIPs. Okay, so this first one that I have to share with you is part of WIPGO. So WIPGO is part of a Jessie Marie Does Stuff creation, so to speak. So from what I've heard through Flosstube, especially Jessie Marie's Flosstubes, the aim of WIPGO is based upon a bingo board, and the aim is to use the WIPGO, or to use the bingo board, so to speak, to fill it with any works in progress WIPs that you want to see some progress on. And the great thing with WIPGO is you can set whatever parameters you want on each project. And this is the first year that I've done WIPGO, and initially I thought, okay, yep, I can set a goal of stitching, say, 250 stitches per day per project. It's all good and well if I'm on holidays, but I work full time, and that's just not happening. So this is called Three Dogs, or Trio of Dogs. This is what I guess it's an improvement on what I've stitched since last time, and I've stitched a lot more of the puppy's head, and yeah, I'm actually happy with how it's going. This is in a kit form, and this is actually one of the fabrics. It's actually pre-gridded. It's 10 by 10, and I think I might have, no, I think I'm just showing the back as well. I don't think it really matters as to which side I started on. So it's worked out all right. It's gridded either side. Initially I thought that it might have, one side of the fabric, the grids might have been more visible than the other side, but from what I'm seeing so far, it's about the same. So this particular project has a lot of browns in it, so that's probably where I'm struggling a little bit with it. And the other thing that I'm struggling with with this pattern is the background. I really should have started doing tent stitch straight away on the background and then done full crosses for the puppies. I think that would probably make the background just a bit more bearable. But we'll wait and see how things go. I've committed to doing full crosses for the entire full coverage picture, and we'll see how things go. So that's part of WIP Go, and for this particular weekend my aim was to try and get as much of the puppy's head filled as I could, and yeah, I think I've gotten a fair way. So considering it's a long weekend this weekend in Canberra, or in Australia really, it's the Queen's birthday long weekend, so I still have some time. So the next project that I want to put some time into that's not been called up for WIP Go yet is this one. So this one is my design. It's available on the Hot Cross Stitching website, and this one is called the Black and White Rolled Up Daisy, and this photo the pattern is based upon was taken here at Malure Bay of a flower that's in the garden, and it was around dusk or late afternoon when the photo was taken, and these particular daisies, they close up at night time and then they open up when it's daylight. And yeah, I was just fascinated by it being rolled up. And so similar to the trio of dogs pattern, I'm actually thinking that the background could easily be done tent stitch. By the way, I'm stitching this all DMC on 18 count Black Aida, and the background, the reason why I've chosen Aida is just to really help with the background of this flower just blending in with the fabric and trying to make these petals pop. So this is where I'm also thinking that if any of you who are interested in the pattern and how it's looking and all the rest, you don't necessarily have to stitch the background if you don't want to. I'm doing this as 2/2, so 2 strands of DMC floss or thread over 2/1, 2 strands over one cross. So yeah, I'm liking how the coverage is going for that. So that's the Black and White Rolled Up Daisy. The next picture or project that I'm working on, and this is on the gridded fabric, and this gridded fabric is 20 by 20 squares, and so this one is a hot cross stitching design, and this one is called the Blue Mountains, I should know the name of this pattern, I designed it, I'm stitching it. So this one is the Blue Mountains Walking Trail, and the challenge with this particular pattern, if anyone is interested in purchasing it and stitching it, is when I was designing it, you'll see in the picture that this one is designed as being finished as a portrait view. However, the challenges that I had when I first imported the photo to the software I use, it didn't like putting it in portrait view. It wanted it in landscape, which is why I'm holding this project like it is, because it should, when it's done, will be finished this way. So I'm doing this all in DMC thread. I'm stitching it 1/1, and I did initially start doing 2/1, so 2 threads over 1 square. I started doing it in the top corner here where it's the light colours, and yeah, it was just a testing thing for me. I wanted to see what it would look like. So it just became a bit too bulky. using 2 threads of over 1 square on 25 count, and this fabric is really sturdy, which is great, and it doesn't need two strands over 1 square at all. So yeah, I'm liking how it's coming out with the 1 strand of DMC over 1 square. Yeah, I'm really liking how it's going. The other thing I want to point out is all of this pattern I'm using is fully compatible with Pattern Keeper. So this one as well. This one is also fully compatible with Pattern Keeper. All of the patterns that are available on the Hot Cross Stitching website are fully compatible with Pattern Keeper. If you do want a paper pattern, rather than purchasing the PDF and printing it out, let me know as part of the comments or something when you go to purchase the pattern. Let me know if you want a paper version, and I'll send one through to you, and it'll be all good. We'll go from there. But yeah, go check out the Hot Cross Stitching website, see what patterns are there, and yeah, we'll go from there. It'll be all okay. Okay, so the last pattern or project I have to share with you is one that I've been working on for quite a few years. It feels like it. No, it's definitely been years. So this is the Gundaroo mini mushrooms. It's called the Gundaroo mini mushrooms because I took the photo at Gundaroo. Gundaroo is about 45 minutes northwest of Canberra. I guess it depends on whereabouts in Canberra you're driving from, but it's northwest of Canberra. It's on your way up to Sydney if you're in Australia heading that way. So I have been focusing mostly on the bottom part of the pattern, and this, sorry, hang on. I am bumping everything, and my computer is doing all funky things. I absolutely apologise. I've got the mouse right in front of me and I've bumped it. So I just want to say I am stitching this on 14 count Aida. I don't know what the colour is called. I would like to say mushroom, but I don't know. Don't know what the colour is, but it's 14 count Aida, and I'm stitching 2 over 1, and it's all DMC. And what I'm liking about this is it has a really nice balance of confetti stitching and solid blocks of colour, and it's been pretty good. This was the first pattern that I committed to for Hot Cross Stitching, and I'm using a paper pattern for this, and I started using a paper pattern because at that stage I hadn't fully worked out how I could get the PDFs into Pattern Keeper. I am so thankful that I have figured that out. I haven't converted this into or transferred the pattern into Pattern Keeper for the mushrooms, but it is definitely worth it. The other thing that I want to point out with this project is many of the colours in this project are very similar to the pictures, or the threads in the Blue Mountains walking trail picture. So just a heads up, if you do end up purchasing more than one pattern, you'll be happy to know that the Gundaroo mini mushrooms and the Blue Mountains walking trail projects both share very similar colours, or the same colours in many instances. So if you're going to end up kitting up the 2 projects at the same time, it may actually be worth having your flosses in the same container or rings, or whatever method that works for you, having them all together, so that way you don't have to keep swapping around. And if you travel around a little bit with your projects, then it hopefully saves a bit of space. It'll save you a bit of money in terms of doubling up on threads or anything like that. So that's pretty much it for me this week. So thank you all very much for your time and your patience and everything else. And I really do hope that I get to see you all again and I can share with you some more progress on what I've worked on. And the interesting thing is I'm pretty sure that next time I record a Flosstube, I may be up in Queensland, so I'll hopefully be able to share some pictures with you of where I'm staying and the views that we'll have, and yeah, just something different, because it seems to be working out that every fortnight seems to be the timing for when I can record. So yeah, thank you. And if nothing else, check out the hot cross stitching website. I'll include the links and everything in the description box below. And yeah, until next time, happy stitching. Catch you all later. Bye.